roadmap for culturally and linguistically relevant support for transition age youth who have intellectual and developmental disabilities, as well as for their families. So when we're talking about transitional age youth, we're talking about 16 to 22-year-olds. This program is part of a service access and equity grant that was awarded by the California Department of Developmental Services. It runs through January of 2025 through the end of December of 2026. As I said, the focus is transition age youth with IDD. The goals of this program are to embolden families to be proactive during the transition and the preparation for the transition from school services to adult world services. We also hope to address cultural stigmas, and we involve navigators from their culture in this process. The program highlights, as you can see, there are four sort of segments: the kickoff, the navigators, the life planning, and the ongoing support and learning. This program is intended to be about 3 months. And it starts with the families attending a kickoff event, which we call a World Cafe, where the youth and the families come together. They will receive an overview of the program, and then we separate into the parents or siblings or grandparents, whoever the sort of adults are in that youth's family, and then also the youths. And then they work with the navigators, which I'll be explaining, that are mentors. And it's like a focus group where we discuss what is working well for them, what have their challenges been, as well as what their hopes and dreams are for the adult phase of their life. Um, and then the navigators, this is another key part of our program. Each family is paired with two navigators. So the youth is paired with a youth mentor, and the family is paired with a family transition specialist. Ideally, these navigators have some lived experience in the world of IDD so that they can help um, provide peer support as well as some insights about what it's like to go through that process. When they are matched with their navigators, the navigators will meet with the youth and the family. They work it out amongst themselves, but in the cohorts that we have launched here in San Diego, they meet about every 1 or 2 weeks, just to check in, see how they're doing, see if there are any programs or services that they are interested in that perhaps the navigator can help them research. And the navigators are there to sort of fill in some of the gaps that the service coordinators can't do everything, as we know. So it's sort of a support person that they are matched with to help them through this process. Each of the youth and families are also enrolled in the life planning series from the Home for Guiding Hands. So this is a 6-session course that runs over 12 weeks. Um, and in the next slide, we'll talk a little bit more about the different components of that program. For support and learning, the families and the youth will have access to online learning videos. Um, they include things such as grounding techniques and other sort of stress management um, techniques, information about self-determination programs, information about CalAble. So some of them are related to sort of the nitty-gritty of what they will need to consider as they transition into adulthood, and others are just sort of life skills in terms of stress management, because we know for any adolescent transitioning to adulthood, that can be a stressful transition. And when we're talking about people that have IDD, there's an entire other set of considerations that come into play. Um, We also hold peer support groups for both the youth and the families where they will get to meet together. Again, the group itself decides. It tends to be either once a week or every other week, where parents and caregivers are invited to attend the family peer support group. We have had, again, for our San Diego cohorts, we have had speakers come to present about the programs and services they offer from the Department of Rehabilitation. We had someone from the Exceptional Family Resource Center. We also have just had meetings where we open it up to the group about what's going on in their life that particular week, if any specific challenges have come up. And we've seen that not only do they get support from the family navigators, but they get support from their peers, the other moms and dads, even the other siblings, about what has worked for their families. There's a lot of resource sharing where people learn about organizations that support people in the IDD community that maybe they didn't know about. For the youth navigators in San Diego, they don't meet quite as often as the family peer support, and because of some uh, communication challenges, those haven't been as highly attended. But again, so they do have a couple people that attend those peer support groups. They can talk about, what kind of jobs they want to have, what independence looks like to them. So again, they can talk with their peers about their vision. Um, and then there's also emails that go out to support the families and to support the youth whenever we hear about trainings or webinars, resource fairs, anything that we can share with the families and youth to give them more access to the amazing services and organizations that are out there that support the youth and their families.